Hello, may peace and blessings be with you. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. Today, we are going to cover all about scheduling Zoom meetings, and I am super excited. I love using Zoom, I use it quite a bit for scheduling meetings, also for recording content sometimes, and for a whole bunch of other things. So let's get started. If you're brand new to Zoom, in today's session, we're really going to cover how to create an account, how to schedule your first meeting, and put it on your calendar so that you can send invites out from your calendar. So that's pretty much all we're going to cover. We're not going to go into a lot of the security features and other controls within a Zoom meeting. If you're interested in learning how to do all that, do let me know. Pop the word training in the comments, and I'll be sure to create a future training for that. I already have a pre recorded training, which is pretty comprehensive. If you would like a copy of that, you can also say, send me a copy in the comments, and I can share the link of that with you. Okay, so let's get started. I am going to share my screen. It's interesting. I thought I had set it all up, but I guess I didn't. It's okay. Here we go. Sharing my screen. I'm going to move myself to the bottom right corner. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to open up a new browser window. This is if you don't yet have a Zoom account and you need to create one. You're going to go to zoom.us and create a new account. So you can sign up for free in the top right-hand corner, and basically it's going to ask you to provide some information, birth year, and a whole bunch of other things. And it's going to basically create your account for you. The prompts are pretty self explanatory. I do not feel that you'll have any trouble with filling out this. So go ahead and do that. It's going to require an email address, a valid email address that you provide. So do that. And by filling out that form, you'll be able to create a new Zoom account. And if you are wanting to get a paid account, I'm checking out plans and pricing. Zoom is constantly updating what they offer and all that good stuff. So let's see. Yeah. So free account still gets you a meeting up to 40 minutes for free. So what happens is at the end of 40 minutes, your meeting will automatically end or close. So that's the downside of just having the free account. But you still can have up to 100 attendees if you're only hosting a meeting for less than 40 minutes for free. If you go to their pro plan, which is the one I have, you get up to 100 attendees, and there's no limit on how long the meeting needs to be. Oh, it says up to 30 hours. So I hardly ever would schedule a meeting for 30 hours. So this one's pretty sufficient. And you also get access to their cloud account so that you can store your videos there and things like that, and a few other bells and whistles. So if you are going to be using Zoom quite a bit and you anticipate that your meetings will be longer than 40 minutes, then I would highly recommend going with the pro plan because it's a pretty nice deal. You only pay $150 for the year. You can also sign up for the monthly plan. I believe they also have one of those options available. Okay, so that's for pricing. So we're going to go back. So once you have a Zoom account, you are going to go ahead and download Zoom. And I'm going to go real quick. Let's see. Zoom is constantly changing their interface. So I just want to make sure I send you to the right place to download the. 1 second. Let's see what happens if we go to support. I feel like there we go, download center. So you want to, from the home page, I clicked on support and went to the download center. From the download center, you want to download the app that you need. If you're going to be using it from your desktop, you need this Zoom desktop client. If you're going to be using Zoom from your phone or your tablet, go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and or the Microsoft Store and download it from there. and that way you'll have an application on your device, and that is what you want to use for scheduling meeting. There is a way to schedule meetings from online as well, just from this web interface, and I can, I guess, show you how to do that, but I don't recommend it as much because it's not as user friendly. I find the desktop client to be way better, so that is what I'm going to recommend. Okay, so let's take a look at the desktop client, assuming you're going to do that. So once you download it, it's going to look like this. It will not have you signed in. So let's just do that. I'm going to sign out for a second. So it's going to look like this when you first come in. And let's log in. I'm going to just log in real quick. Give me 1 second. I can remember password. Okay, here we go. So I'm logged in, and because I have set up a profile picture in my account, so that's why it shows this at the top. If you manage Zoom accounts for other organizations, so for me, I also have a few Zoom accounts with the nonprofit that I volunteer at, and also with other clients. So I'm constantly switching between the different Zoom accounts. So try to use a different profile picture. That's my, pro tip there. Try to use a different profile picture for each account. That way, just by looking at the top right corner, you can tell which account you're in. But if you're not doing that, if you're using the same picture, then of course, looking at this in the top right corner, after you click on that picture, you will also be able to see which account you're logged into. Let's see. If you don't add a profile picture, what happens? It's going to show your initials. I believe it'll show TM for me if I don't have a picture added. And we can get into like how to set up your profile picture and all that. You do that on the web client, on the website. I should say web client on the website. So zoom.us, go to profile, and then you can add your picture there. Okay, so when you're in the Zoom desktop client, you want to schedule a meeting. You can just click on schedule, and it's going to open up this nice window with all kinds of choices. Do not get intimidated by any of this. We're going to go over everything one by one. So you want to give your Zoom meeting a topic for sure. I a lot of times would put the name of the person I'm meeting with in the topic with my name, because when you put it on your calendar, you want to be able to tell who the meeting is with when you're looking at it, but you also want to put your own name in, because when you send that invite out, they also get the invite and they know who the meeting is with. So, just say both names in the subject line. So let's make mine Sarah/Timmy Zoom training. How about that? And then let's schedule it for 12 p.m. today. That's fine. It's going to give you the next available. A lot of times, I think that's what Zoom does by default. The next hour available after the hour that you're in. I think it's going to default to that. But you can pick a time, earlier time, later time, pick a date. It will not let you go in the past for sure, but you can pick an earlier time for another day, and it lets you do that. You set the duration here, and you can make it 0 hours and a few minutes, like 45 minutes if you want, 30 minutes if you want. So you can set up all of that here. If it's a one-time meeting, you're only going to be using this link one time, and the time block, how long it's going to be and all that, you can just set it up here and you're done. Once we'll go over like how you connect it to your calendar. But if it's going to be a recurring meeting, even if you're going to meet more than one time, I would highly suggest to make it a recurring meeting. And from that, it's going to, yep. So it's saying, remember to check recurrence or repeat in your calendar invitation. Okay, so we're going to set up this on the calendar, what the frequency is going to be and when we're going to meet and all that. From here, we've just clicked on the recurring meeting. Let's see. And of course, time zone is very important to get right. Okay, so let's do that. I'm trying to think if I want to start with the recurring meeting. Yes, let's do it. Okay, I am a big proponent of using the generate automatically. I would hardly ever use the personal meeting ID. I do not normally use that because if you do that, you have a preset passcode for it. And if you ever down the road change your passcode, now that link that you have shared with people previously, that original passcode will not work. So you have to notify them that you have changed the passcode. So I would hardly ever use the personal meeting ID. I am big on using just the generate automatically. And for the most part, I don't use passcodes. I do sometimes, but I, for the most part, just set up a waiting room, especially if it's a one-on-one conversation. They're not going to get started until I get there, right? So I have the waiting room and I let people in. So that this is normally how I set it up. But if you're going to be meeting with multiple people and you want others to be able to start the meeting without you, you want to check the passcode button and think about if you want to have the waiting room or not. So if you enable the waiting room, then the meeting essentially cannot start until you get there, until you let people in, because they'll join, but they'll be waiting in the waiting area. They will not be in the meeting. So if you want people to be able to have a meeting without you, you can just uncheck the waiting room, enable the passcode. So only people that have the meeting ID and the passcode will be able to get in and they can start without you. I hope this point is clear because people sometimes get tripped up about that. So you need to have at least one of these two enabled or one of these three enabled to schedule a meeting, because this is a security feature in Zoom, and it requires you to at least set up either a passcode, a waiting room, or have them authenticate against something like not just be anyone without a Zoom account logging in. Okay, so my preference is not to set up a passcode, only do a waiting room if I'm meeting one-on-one with someone. If it's multiple people meeting, I would generally add a passcode and I would disable the waiting room so they can start a conversation even without me. But if you don't want them to do that, if you want them to wait until you get there, then enable the waiting room, please. And I'm pretty particular about my passcodes. I feel like random numbers become difficult to remember. So give it something meaningful. A lot of times, like I would do just like something that has meaning. Sometimes you can do the year or the date of the event or something like that. So be creative with it. Make it something easy that people can easily type it in. But not easy to guess, I guess, because the passcode, you don't want to just let anyone in. Okay, so let's see, what else? If you are ever sharing the Zoom link publicly, I would highly encourage you to enable both of them. Put a passcode on it and also enable the waiting room. That way you can screen who comes in, right? You're only allowing people that you want to let in the meeting. Okay, so video, I generally would turn it off. This does not mean you're disabling video. This just means that when they first come in, the video is off for the participants and the host, and they have to turn it on themselves. So when you're in the Zoom meeting, you have to click on, start camera or something, start video. So that's what that means. Audio, what type of audio you want to allow? I would always do both options. I'm giving the users to enter either using a phone or their computer audio. I hope my video is not getting choppy. Sometimes I feel that if my internet connection is not stable, it will make my video a little choppy. So don't mind that, please. Okay, so next one is going to be the Google Calendar. So pretty much all my meetings go on my Google Calendar. That's the one I use for my business. That is what I use even for personal things when I'm scheduling Zoom meetings. So I would enable this I would basically send this meeting invite to my Google Calendar. If you have Outlook, the steps are pretty similar. You can just click on Outlook. And if you have an Outlook desktop client, it'll automatically open that meeting in an Outlook invite automatically. You don't even have to go through the next step that Google one is going to go through. So let's see what happens. If I hit save, it's going to, okay, so it is opening up the choose an account window for me because I have multiple Google accounts. It's on the other window, but it pretty much has all my accounts listed. So I'm only going to pick my business one from it, and I will show you after I pick that. Okay, so after I make the selection, this is what it's going to show me. It's saying Zoom wants additional access to your Google account. Do you allow that? Do you trust Zoom? And I'm going to say continue. And now it's going to put it on my calendar. Let's see. It's funny because I'm by default logged into. Give me 1 second. I'm just looking at my calendar because there are, okay, we will do the test calendar. Okay, so if you're logged into that same calendar where you're sending the one you selected, if you're logged into that by default, it'll open that calendar for you. But for the most part, it's by default going to add it to the default calendar within that account. So just like if you can see, I have multiple calendars listed here. It was adding it under my personal account, not my personal account, basically my email. So I'm going to switch that out so I can show you because there are a lot of things on my calendar that are sensitive and I feel like I can just switch it to show you. Okay, I am good. Okay, so here we go. So I've moved it to test 2. And the way I did that was the meeting popped up already right here. And I went under this edit event and I switched the calendar, which one I wanted to send it to. So test 2, because this is just a test meeting. So as you can tell, it picked up the information from the scheduling window from Zoom. We selected 12 p.m., a 45-minute meeting in this time zone. So it picked up all of that. It included the Zoom link and also the meeting ID and passcode right here. I didn't update the passcode in this one, but it included that in there. It also included some additional dial-in numbers that people can use. And it also added the Zoom link in the location. By default, it's doing a 10-minute notification, 10-minute alert. So all of this is set up. So from here, all you have to do is add your guests. So you will just add the email addresses of people that you want to send this Zoom invite to, and you will hit save. If they're part of your organization, it's going to not give you any other prompts. But if they're not part of your organization, so for example, my organization emails are at simplifyonething.com. So if it recognizes I'm sending emails to other accounts like Yahoo or some other domain, then it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to invite external emails to this? And I usually just say yes to that, and it goes to the next step and sends an invite to them. So your recipients are going to get an email invite to their inbox. So if they're using Yahoo email or Outlook email or Google email, whatever email they're using, they will be getting a notification. Every once in a while, I see that the email ends up in their spam folder and they don't get it for some reason. Even though it's a calendar invite, it doesn't go through. So just as a additional, I guess, fail-safe to the process, you can also copy the invite from the body of this message and send it via email. So I a lot of times would do that, especially if it's a lot of people. If it's just one person, I just do just this and I'm done. I don't always send a follow-up email or anything like that. But if it's multiple people, chances are that one or two of them may not get it directly from this Google invite, So go ahead and copy this in the body of an email and send it to them. If you ever have to text someone the link for the Zoom meeting, I want to recommend you send them these 4 lines: join Zoom meeting, the link, the meeting ID, and the passcode. Because if they have, sometimes it's not easy to click on the link and get to it, especially if they don't have the Zoom app installed or something. So give them both options so they can grab the meeting ID and manually enter it also, in addition to just clicking on the link. That's just, better user experience that you want your recipients to have. I hope that this was helpful. Let me see if there's anything else I want to cover. So we scheduled the meeting. Let's see, what else did we do? We scheduled a meeting. And okay, so that's pretty much it for scheduling the meeting. I'm going to hit save on here. So what happens when it's time for the meeting to start, right? A lot of times you're going to see, if you're the host, when you log in next time, when it's closer to the time of the meeting, you're going to see that meeting pop up on the right, and you can just click on the link there to start the meeting. So you don't have to do much to start the meeting, right? But basically, you have to initiate when it's time for the meeting to begin. So what I'm going to do, another way you can do it is you can just open your calendar when it's time to get to the meeting and click on the link. It's going to open up this window and it's going to say, do you want to open Zoom meetings? If you don't have the Zoom downloaded, the desktop client, you may not get this. It might just open it in the browser. So I'm going to open this in the Zoom meeting client. Let's see, can I show this? Yes, I can. Here we go. So this is what you're going to get. It's going to ask you, do you want to join with computer audio? I pretty much always join with computer audio, but I do have the option to dial in from my phone also. So what that does is you're logged into the Zoom on your desktop, but the audio is going through your phone. That's what that means. So if you ever think that your internet is not stable, you can dial in with the phone as well. So let's do that. And this is what it's going to look like. Since I don't have my video turned on, it's going to just show my picture. If I try to click on the video, it won't turn on right now because my camera is being used by my live stream Melon app. But this is how you do it. And when people come in, if you click on this participants window, you're going to see the waiting room. They will be coming to the waiting room if you have enabled the waiting room. And from there, you can accept them into the meeting. You can do accept one at a time, or you can do accept all, and it'll let everybody in the meeting. So this is what you're going to do when you're starting the meeting after you have scheduled it. And what your people are going to do when they receive the invite, they're also going to just click on the link. And depending on the device they're using, it'll open up in that client for them, app client for them. If they don't have a Zoom account or anything like that, then all they have to do is go to zoom.us, which is where we were initially. I can actually close this window. Here we go. So zoom.us. And from the very top, they can click on join. And they can just enter the meeting ID or the link, right? They can copy the link, paste it in here, or put in the meeting ID, and it's going to ask them. Let's actually do that. Let's do this test drive. So let's get the meeting ID. Okay, 810-5959. 6559. Okay, 6559. Hopefully I got this right. Okay, so it's asking if I want to join with the Zoom client. I'm not going to do that because I'm already logged into that, right? So I am going to join from the browser. So this is what they're going to get. So they have to enter the meeting passcode, the passcode you set up for this meeting. So for me, it's only 387. I entered it right. And it's going to give them the option to enter their name. I'm going to just call myself test user because I want to show you on the other screen what it looks like. I'm not going to check this box to remember my name from future meetings because next time when I try to join a Zoom meeting, it's going to say I'm a test user. So let's not do that. Okay, so now the test user has entered the meeting. Let's see what's happening. I'm having fun because I have two screens. Okay, so this was a test user. Oh, test user hasn't joined yet. Let's make them join. I don't know if you heard this little knock on the door. Okay, so now this is the host account. Okay, so host is seeing that the test user is in the waiting room. So do I want to let them in or not? I can admit them here. So this is what you'll see as a host. And I also showed you what your recipient will see, your meeting participant will see. So I hope this is all making sense. You're kind of seeing both sides of it, what you see, what your participants see when you're scheduling a meeting, and how you add it to your calendar, and how you send them the link via email, and also if you want to text it to them. So I think we've kind of gone full circle about that. If you have any questions, let me know, put them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer those. If you want me to cover additional tips and tricks about Zoom, I want you to add tips in the comments for me. That way I'll cover additional Zoom tips and tricks in a future video, in a future live training that we do. If you want to get your hands on my Zoom training, which is comprehensive Zoom training, just put the word Zoom in the comments and I will get in touch with you and get that over to you. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time. Oh my goodness, next time we're going to cover how to create your link tree. If you don't have a link tree, you need to create one, because that is one place where you can organize all your links, your social media accounts, and any up and coming offers that you have for people. If you don't have a website yet, a link tree can be a really good place where you can park a lot of those things and get them out to lots of people. So I'm going to show you how to set that up, how to make it easy and simple, going through all the steps. If you don't have one, you can create one next week with me. I will see you then. Talk to you soon. May peace and blessings be with you.